Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It's another week after Labor Day, here to recap everything that happened over the weekend and stuff that's coming because, boys, it is game week. The Lions play Thursday. Cannot wait. We have a lot to get to today, recapping college football. But before we get into any of that, I got to introduce my partner in crime over here, Sam Flannel, back. How was your Labor Day weekend, Sam?
I mean, it was really, really good. Obviously, on Saturday, we had the college football show. We had Booner's Bets, and we had the live stream. That was a whole lot of fun. Got to watch Michigan win with the boys. Not as impressive as maybe I would have liked, but that's all well and good. And I have to shout out JP. I actually met him this weekend at Arts Beats and Eats on Monday. It was yesterday, actually. A listener, not JB, but JP. So I just want to give him a shout out. Fun weekend. Shout out JP.
Speaking of JB, he is out today. He's not feeling well. So the heart and soul of the Morning Woodward Show is missing today.
The voice of reason.
The voice of reason. He'll be back tomorrow. Need him healthy for Thursday. Like that's the most important thing. But as always, we got our guy Lucas Klotz in the booth ready to go.
Baby.
He's fired up.
It's game week. It is game week. Lions travel to Arrowhead. 2 more days, baby. 2 more days.
How many times did you watch the Deion Sanders, the Prime pregame
I
speech?
relived it. I want to go back, put on the cleats, and go play for Coach Prime right now.
Yeah.
That's a coach that you want to play for right there. I don't care. Everybody was like, it's the same thing. It's just like, people were saying he was unprofessional. Like, so is Dan Campbell. He has a chewing at practice. He talks about biting off kneecaps. But that's just a guy who coaches with passion. He is who he is, and that's why his players love him. And he's just one of a kind. And those are the coaches that change programs and change culture.
Yeah, being authentic goes a long way, dude. I mean, that's number one. I think that's why Dan has had so much success. Not only, I mean, he hasn't had any yet in the NFL. I mean, he had a winning season, but the players love him. And we're going to get to Deion Sanders. We're going to get to Prime. Don't worry about it. 8:15, we'll break down Colorado, their big upset over TCU. And I just want to say, and I know you're not going to give me any credit here, only one on Booner's Bets, the Woodward Bets show, which you can check out Saturdays and Sundays. We talked about that game specifically. The spread was like 20.5, and I was the only one that said they'd cover. I didn't think they'd win. But all that Colorado needed to do was keep it close, and boy, did they. They took down TCU, and we'll break all that down in about 10 minutes. But before we get into all of that, I want to play some of the training camp videos that Matt Broder captured from training camp. We'll play some of that. We'll get into the bug stuff. So here you go. Lucas, you can play whatever you got. Look at that, Jahmyr Gibbs.
This is what I'm excited to see. If D-Mon's catching out of the backfield efficiently Thursday, that'll be tough for Kansas City. Their DBs will not be able to tackle D-Mon one-on-one, especially in open space.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, right? Without J-Mo, we always talk about which wide receiver is going to step up, but also with the running backs. Like, you got 2 backs that pretty good pass catchers.
Sure.
And I think that's the most underrated part about both their games, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and we all look at Jahmyr Gibbs as a guy, he could fill that role at least in the first 6 weeks. If he actually comes out and is the pass catcher that he showed at Alabama that we all expect that he can be, then maybe the Jameson Williams absence will not be felt as hard as maybe we think. Or maybe even as the season goes on, we all think the wide receiver room, we're a little bit scared about their depth and everything, but if Jahmyr Gibbs actually catches maybe 50 or 60 balls out of the backfield, I think that's a moot point at this point.
And also, along with the bug stuff, he is now he will not be playing on Thursday. Ooh. And I know people, if you follow Isaiah Buggs on Twitter, you see some of the cryptic tweets he's been putting out, and everybody assumed that he was going to be traded. I saw this thing, which is ridiculous. Like, is he going to be traded for Chris Jones? No, he's not going to be traded for Chris Jones. I do not believe that. But it is being reported he will not be playing against the Kansas City Chiefs. It feels like at this point, Benito Jones moving up the depth chart right now. And they have quite the defensive tackle depth now with Levi Onwuzurike coming back. They keep Benito Jones. And Isaiah Buggs was the heart and soul last year. He was a guy that big voice in the locker room. If you watch any of the mic'd up stuff the Lions put out last year, he was very vocal. He kind of set the tone on that defensive line along with Liam McNeil on the interior, but looks like he won't be playing. But he also spoke to the media, and you could play this. He didn't sound too ecstatic about that and the relationship between him and the Lions.
Relationship change is nothing to address, honestly. So,
relationship change with the Lions? I guess that's
I'm not going to technically say that. I'm just saying in life, period. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing dealing with football. There's nothing dealing with here. I'm just saying, you know, so I don't want anybody to take that context and run with it. But at the same time, relationships do change. That's what I want to say. It's nothing else to say about it.
How happy are you with your role right now, currently?
I've always been a team player, and whatever, you know what I'm saying, they got for me, that's what they got for me, and I'm going to work at it, whatever they have planned for me, and that's what it's going to be.
You expect to play a role against Kansas City this week?
As of right now, they told me that I was not going to play, so that's what we got, and I'm going to be straightforward with it. Because they were straightforward with me with that, and as of right now, I would not be playing.
Who's motivating?
Oh yeah, I'm always determined to go harder every time things go against me and not my way. You know, that's just something I've been dealing with all my life. You know what I'm saying? Even from junior college to Bama, from the Steelers to here. I'm always keep going, and that's what it's going to be.
Did you know that before they told you to see it coming?
Yeah, I don't know if that was Broder.
Yeah, that was Broder Cam right there, baby.
Dude, what is he, 6'8"?
I mean, Broder is a tall, he's probably like 6'5".
Yeah, dude.
He's a tall sip of water.
Yeah, he's a tall glass of water, that's for sure. Speaking of that, you can check out Broder and Booner tonight, their debut of their new show.
Speaking of which, I think you can tell us more about it.
Yes, let me tell you about them. Broder and Booner, they debut tonight. It's the Woodward Night Show featuring those two goats right there. They'll be on. Don't miss it, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on the WSN YouTube channel. Join them. They got some of the Detroit sports hottest takes, but also not just hottest takes, but the best entertainment. And they're two great guys. You're going to want to join the show. They got our guy Jalen as well in the TD booth. Don't forget the Broder and Booner Woodward Night Show, 8 to 10 p.m. Check that out tonight. But just to speak on the Isaiah Buggs stuff, to me, this is a non-story. This is effective, and Dan hinted at this before the season started. You've heard it from a lot of different guys. They're going to have to cut some good players, but not just cut. There's going to be guys that aren't going to play that were last year pretty important parts of this football team, and that's just how this thing goes. As guys get better, a guy like Isaiah Buggs, who is solid, the fact that he isn't playing and maybe personnel-wise, the coaching staff feels better about a Benito Jones potentially, I don't think that's a bad problem to have, Sam Flannel. I don't.
But it's the defensive line position, and that's where I am just a little bit concerned because it is a position in which I would say it may be lacking some depth. There's definitely some question marks, and if you don't have them, I think you're being a little bit... You're living off of hopium because here's the thing. We all talk about Liam McNeil as somebody who could have a breakout year. He could. Or he also could not. I would bet on the former, but at the same time, the last couple of years he's been very, very solid, but he hasn't had that breakout year. And then obviously Levi Onwuzurike is coming back. He had a damn good preseason, but in his one season he played, I would say it was a mixed bag, and that is putting it very, very nicely. I would say he was worse than a mixed bag. And Broderick Martin, I'll be honest, I wasn't super impressed with him in the preseason, but you know, who knows? Maybe once the big lights turn on, he will be all well and good. And then Benito Jones, he's not really a guy to me that you can count on as being an every down interior defensive lineman. I get it, guys like Kaminsky can move around, Aiden Hutchinson can move around, Josh Pascal can move around, and hopefully they all stay healthy. But the fact that Isaiah Buggs is not even playing week 1 at Arrowhead after the Lions just signed him, I don't know. It's one of those things that make my antennas go up just a little bit. I'm slightly concerned that he couldn't even make the roster actually get into the rotation for this game.
You're concerned for who? For Buggs or for the? I think this is fine for the Lions.
You think it's fine for the Lions?
I mean, think about and for Wavy says Sam gonna say without Buggs we're not gonna win games. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Is Buggs that guy?
Is that real? Is that really what it sounded like? I'm saying that Isaiah Buggs is going to be a huge detriment to this team. I'm just saying that this defensive line, at least when it comes to the interior interior, it doesn't have a standout right now. It has a lot of guys who either have hope for, or guys who haven't really showed a ton in the past, like Levi Onwuzurike and Benito Jones, but are coming back. You all expect these guys to maybe break out, and with Broderick Martin, he doesn't have any NFL resume whatsoever because he's a rookie, a rookie who's a third-round draft pick who was relatively mid at Western Kentucky. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying those are just the facts. When I see that Isaiah Buggs is out and that kind of maybe hinders their defensive line depth, I start to wonder a little bit about some guy who is now in Philadelphia right now. I'm sorry, his name is Jalen Carter. And when I hear about this, I'm like, Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell better work, specifically Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh, speaking of that, we'll get into all that later because I think Jahmyr on Thursday.
Let me ask you this, Flannel.
It's time.
What would you feel better? No Jalen Carter against the Chiefs or no Jahmyr Gibbs against the Chiefs and Sam Laporta, week 1?
It's about a tie.
We would not. The Lions are not putting up points up with the Chiefs if they do not have Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta. At least they do not have the offensive threat that they have right now.
I'm telling you.
But this idea that this is just all, it's not. The interior of the Detroit Lions defensive line, there are question marks. We all hope that Ali McNeil breaks out.
But
we don't know.
You got to think, too, Sam, with this defensive line, there's a lot of guys that are versatile as well. Like a Josh Pascal. He can slide inside. He's better than Buggs. He can provide a pass rush. For Buggs, he's essentially just a run stopper, right? And that's what his job is. Yeah. They have a lot of depth on the defensive line and a lot of interchangeable pieces. I'm not concerned. I think this is marginal at best. If there's any concern, if the Chiefs run for 200 yards, maybe we can talk. But other than that, they're not a team that's going to pound the football anyway. So I'm not. You got to get pressure on Mahomes, and I think they can do that without Isaiah Buggs.
But just remember,
I think they can.
Remember who the interior of the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line is, headed up by a guy named Creed Humphrey, and one of the guards is Joe Tooney, who is damn good. All I'm saying is you want all of the bodies available up front for the Detroit Lions that you can have. And Isaiah Buggs, the Lions signed him. They didn't even have to sign him. He was a guy that kind of had a surprise decent-ish year last year, although his run blocking grade wasn't even very good, by the way. But anywho, I'm just saying the Detroit Lions interior defensive line, I'm a little bit concerned as of now. I'm not saying Isaiah Buggs is the end-all be-all, but you need bodies. You need rotational pieces, and Isaiah Buggs was one of them. Like I said, you better hope for big step-ups from guys like Ali McNeil, Levi Onwuzurike, and for guys like Josh Pascal and Aiden Hutchinson, John Kaminsky to maybe get some snaps on the interior. That's all. They might.
And we're going to have plenty more, at least to discuss with our good friend of the show, John McAroon, who'll be joining us at 8:30, the doc, to break down not only the Bug stuff, but Lions versus Chiefs, Emmanuel Mosley, and so much more. Again, if you guys don't know who John is, what are you doing? He does great work, and I'll put the link to all his articles in the chat as well. He's a publisher, All Lions, and host of Detroit Sports Podcast. So he'll be joining us at 8:30, along with 8:45. We'll talk about the Michigan State, both games. Sam will give his breakdown, the East Carolina game. Can't wait for that one, right? J.J. McCarthy airing it out, which I got to give credit. I didn't think they'd do it. J.J. looked damn good. I think it's the highest completion percentage in Michigan history with at least 30 attempts.
Oh, yeah, it was.
It's pretty impressive. We'll get to that 8:45, 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock and beyond. For today, we're going to do predictions. It's prediction week on the Morning Woodward Show. Now with the season approaching us, we'll get into more Lions and Chiefs tomorrow, obviously on Thursday, and then we have the pregame show. But today at 9 o'clock, 9:15, and 9:30, we're going to go through all predictions, right? Rookie awards, the main awards, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, so on and so forth, Coach of the Year, and then division winners. We're going to get all our predictions out so we put them and cement them in place, and we can revisit them in the season and maybe roast one of us or give one of us credit, either one. We'll go to break. When we get back, again, we'll get to the Colorado stuff and Deion Sanders and how impressive that show out was from Shadur Sanders as well. And could Colorado have two Heisman candidates on one team? Ooh. Could they? Before we do that, I got to tell you about our friends over at SMA. The sports marketing agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone is struggling, head to thesportsma.com. Again, thesportsma.com for more information.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Wondering where the best Lions tailgate is? That's easy. Eastern Market, the official Detroit Lions tailgate party at Shed Number 5 in Eastern Market. Woodward Sports will be broadcasting live for every home game. 3-star Michelin buffet featuring Chef Ermanni, VIP parking, and even tickets if you need them. How do you sign up? Go to bullseyeeventgroup.com and tailgate like a VIP. That's bullseyeeventgroup.com.
Welcome back to the morning Woodward show. Parker. Just gonna move my mic there for me. There you go. Okay, we're good. Sorry about that. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Don't forget, hit the like button on the stream. We're at 50 likes, trying to get to as many as we can. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're at 47,600. So we're trying to get to 50K. That's the goal here, and hopefully we can do that over the period of time that we have to watch the Lions that are coming up this week on Thursday. So can't wait for that. Let's get into Colorado, because I've been oozing to get to this. I know I've had all Labor Day weekend to kind of take this in, and I wanted to, share my thoughts on it, because it not only was it impressive for Prime and what they're building in Colorado, but it was also impressive for two other players as well. Shedeur Sanders had easily the best performance, at least I've seen in recent years. He was the best quarterback in college football. I think that's the best performance yet in college football, to be honest with you. What he did against TCU, the runner-ups of last year's national championship game. I mean, Shedeur Sanders, 38 of 47, 510 yards and 4 TDs. Now, mind you, didn't have really much of a run game. This is a team in Colorado that is still building, at least in the trenches. They lack an offensive line. They lack a defensive line. And for Shedeur Sanders to walk in without a great offensive line, to throw for 510 yards in Texas at TCU in 90-degree weather, and then you have Travis Hunter playing 144 snaps. You had four receivers go for over 110 yards, led by Dylan Edwards, the freshman running back, who was ridiculous as well. That was the game for me over the weekend, and I know this was tweeted out as well, which I thought was interesting. Most bet-on players to win the Heisman, according to BetMGM. 16.5% of the bets are on Travis Hunter, 12.4% of the bets are on Shedeur Sanders. I mean, I'm telling you, and this hasn't happened, at least two Heisman candidates on the same team since 2004, I believe it was, USC. It was Matt Leinart and of course, as you guys know, Reggie Bush. Give that man back his Heisman. But regardless, it's been a while since a team had two legit Heisman candidates. Now, how many games will Colorado win? I don't know. I think they maybe win 8-9 games at best. But you can't deny Sam Flannel with those two and what they are able to do. Those are two Heisman candidates if they're winning games.
Absolutely. Shedeur Sanders right now, and I know it's after week one, has to be number one on every single person's Heisman ballot. Can he keep it up? We shall see. But in his first game at Colorado, threw 4 touchdown passes, over 500 yards on the road at TCU, the team that went to the national championship game last year. And not only that, you talked about the Colorado running game. The Colorado running game gave them a whopping 55 yards on 34 carries for 1.6 yards per carry. I know a lot of that was from Shedeur Sanders being sacked 5 times, but still, The Colorado Buffaloes needed every bit of every throw and every touchdown and every yard that Shedeur Sanders gave them, because their defense also gave up 42 points, and Colorado ended up scoring 45 pretty much off the back of Shedeur Sanders alone, along with the wide receivers, including one Travis Hunter, who may have even managed to be even more impressive than Shedeur Sanders. What Travis Hunter did on Saturday was, quite frankly, one of the most impressive games by a college football player I've ever seen. He literally had 3 tackles and an interception on defense and 11 catches for 100 and let me pull those stats up. 11 catches for 119 yards on offense. All of that basically playing both ways. For one college football game, the only person that I can compare him to is Shohei Ohtani in baseball. We're looking at if Travis Hunter can keep this up, being a candidate for the Biletnikoff Award and the Thorpe Award, basically for the best receiver and the best corner in the country. I'm not saying he is going to keep this up, but this is something I've never seen in college football. I mean, you look at a couple of even recent Michigan players who have played both ways to an extent. You look at 1997 Charles Woodson. Obviously, he won the Heisman Trophy, was the best defensive back in the country by a mile. He played on offense sparingly, but that year he only had 12 receptions for 238 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's obviously great given the fact that he also contributed on special teams in the return game and also what he did on defense. But still, it's not like he was a Biletnikoff Award candidate at wide receiver. It was spot duty. And then you look at 2016 with Jabril Peppers. He was another one who played a lot on offense, a lot in the return game, but he was a standout on defense. In his 2016 season, he had 4 sacks, 13 tackles for loss, and interception, 27 carries for 167 yards, and 3 touchdowns on offense. And I get it. That is a very, very impressive, but it's not like he's a Doak Walker Award candidate on offense and a Thorpe Award candidate on defense. I'm not saying that Travis Hunter can keep this up, but that is insanely impressive what he was able to do for one game. And if he keeps playing both ways like this, we might be talking about the greatest single season any college football player has ever had. We are watching Shohei Ohtani, but in college football.
And you look at what happened immediately when Deion came to Colorado. Like, think about this. He walked in, told 71 players to get the hell out. 71 players entered the transfer portal. I believe he brought in like 50 players, something around that number, to come to Colorado. Excuse me. I don't know why I keep saying Chicago. Colorado.
Justin Fields on your mind.
Yeah, don't do that. Colorado. And what's more impressive is Colorado last year, one win. And they lost week to week the largest point differential in college football. They were getting blown out, the worst team by far in the Pac-12. Prime shows up. 1 year later, they already have 1/4 of their over-under. Their over-under this year was 3.5, and they have 1 win already. Like, what Prime has done already, I know people are there's a little bit of an overreaction as well, and I know if you ask Prime, he's going to say, well, we want to go win the national championship. I don't think they're going to do that, but still, the fact that in his first year, typically in college football, you see these things it's a slow grind, right? You got to get your recruits, you got to build them up, they have to develop, and over the course of 2 to 3 years, maybe you can build the foundation of your program. Prime is treating this like the NFL, and maybe with the transfer portal, it's essentially now, it's kind of the NFL. You can rebuild quicker, but he's basically going from, and I don't want to say worst to first, but worst to relevant with Colorado right now. Again, 3.5 was the over-under. The guy's got 1 win already. So who cares what happens moving forward? I think in the Pac-12, with USC, with Utah, of course, even Oregon now, because I think Oregon's going to be pretty decent this year. It's not Colorado's time right now. Prime would probably disagree, but for the next couple of years, as Prime starts to recruit even more and land more high-caliber talent. I mean, right now you can argue he has a first-round quarterback on his roster in Shedeur Sanders, which I believe he is a first-round quarterback, and then Travis Hunter, who could be a top 10 pick.
Yep.
Like, this is only going to
top 1 pick.
You think so?
If Travis Hunter keeps playing even close to the level that he did at both sides of the ball, if he wants to go for a cornerback position, he'll be a top 3 pick. If he wants to go for wide receiver, okay, maybe he'll go top 10. But if he can play corner how he did yesterday consistently, especially in the Pac-12, like, they have wide receivers in that division. They air the ball out in the Pac-12.
Yes, they do.
So he'll be going up against legit guys. And I think just think about this. You're a cornerback, and your college coach and mentor is Deion Sanders. That's all the knowledge you could possibly ever want as a football player, as a man, anything. He's set up for success, so yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. If he wants to play corner in the NFL, he could be a top 5, top 3 pick.
Yes. And also with people saying, you know, this isn't the same TCU team, like, true, but I don't want to hear that. Like, people talked before the game, the spread was 20.5, and most people picked TCU to win. So I don't want to hear that now that Colorado won. Well, they're not the same team. Trust me, we knew that. But you still gave up 45 to a team that was just created in one season.
Yeah.
And now, mind you, Colorado has other issues. Sam Flannel, they gave up over 500 yards on defense. So defensively, I mean, they have Travis Hunter, but they're not a great defense. So there's still a lot of work to do in Colorado, but what Deion's done so far, even beating TCU, although they're not the same TCU as last year, that's still significant, Sam. It just is.
Well, yeah, and bringing in Deion Sanders for all, I've seen in the chat that bringing in transfer portals, it's easier to rebuild a program through transfer portals. But at the same time, Deion is a man that can do it because we're talking about Colorado. I believe that last season's Colorado team was the single worst Power 5 team I've ever seen. They won one game and it was in overtime. They were abysmal. It was vomit to watch them basically. And then this year they bring in, and that's what shows you the old saying too, because with Deion Sanders, it's not even just about the X's and O's, it's about the Jimmys and the Joes, or about the Shadors and Travises, in the case of Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter. When you bring in two of the better players in college football, I think Travis Hunter has the chance to be the best player in college football. It just shows how much your program can improve. And I get it. This is a TCU team. This isn't a TCU team of last year. They lost their quarterback, their best running back, their best receiver in Quentin Johnson, probably their two best receivers, a defensive lineman, a corner, their best offensive lineman. But still, it doesn't matter because it's at a ranked opponent. And this is Colorado as a team that was an over 20-point underdog. A very, very impressive win. And you cannot discredit what they did, especially Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter. They're absolutely Heisman contenders as of right now. I don't know how you can say otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, they have 2 Heisman candidates. If they continue to win, I believe. But there's a show coming to Woodward that could have 3 Heisman candidates in the Woodward in Maine. The Lions insiders, Woodward Sports Lions reporters Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Detroit legend Terry Foster are sitting at the corner of Woodward and Main Street, bringing you the latest inside information of the Detroit Lions. Episodes will be coming to you twice a week, all season long, on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel, Sundays from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and Tuesdays from 7 a.m. To 8 a.m. Premieres on Tuesday, September 5th. You do not want to miss this. Again, guys, tune in. Woodward Sports Lions Insider Show, Detroit's first stop for game day.
We'll actually be premiering on Thursday this week because of the game switch.
Okay.
For the game on Thursday.
So Thursday, there you go.
Breaking it down on Thursday.
And we'll have our pregame show as well. Is my mic okay, by the way? Do I sound okay?
Yeah.
I know people were talking about it in the chat, too. I don't want to make sure the audio's fine. But regardless, I know people – there you go. There you go. See? Sound a lot better, don't I? Yep, okay. I knew something was up. Appreciated everyone for letting us know that as well. I saw a comment. Someone said, and I want to get this person credit here. Danny G. I had someone tell me in the watch party chat, trying to tell me that TCU would win by 30. See, they're out there. Like, I don't want to hear I know now it's, Jeff, the defense is bad, TCU's bad. I get all that, but there's no way in hell no one expected Colorado to beat them on Saturday. You just did it. No one did. I expected them to cover. Like, I thought they'd cover, but that's one thing. Not losing by 21 is one thing.
Same thing with Duke and Clemson last night.
That was bad.
21 points, too.
That was bad.
That was pathetic. Clemson did everything they could do to lose that game.
And Happy Camper Harry says Deion did. He says y'all didn't believe. Hey, you got the clip?
Oh, yeah.
All right, play it, man. This gets me juiced up. Oh, yeah. Look at my man walking out. Like this, people who didn't see this, the walkout, like the music too, and I know you can't play it because it's copyright, but this has got to be one of the top 5 hardest moments I've ever seen in college football, at least for a coach coming out the tunnel. And the pregame speech.
Yeah, we'll get that going to 9:40, baby.
Oh, I got the pregame
that had
speech.
Me ready to run through a wall.
Yeah, we'll get the pregame speech at 9:40 because, or excuse me, 9:40 because that pregame speech had me juiced up on my couch. Like, I can't deny it, man. It was incredible. We'll go to break when we get back because we're going to talk to John Macaroon. He's going to be joining us to talk Lions, Isaiah Buggs, so on and so forth. He had a one-on-one with Emmanuel Mosley as well. We'll get to his thoughts on everything and much more. But before we do that, I got to tell you about our friends over at Randy Wise, because what could be better than playing golf or watching celebrities like Braylon and D-Mac playing golf? Playing golf yourself and being treated like a celebrity, that's what. Stop in into any Randy Wise dealership for your chance to play golf like a celebrity. VIP transportation, free golf to one of Michigan's best tracks, and a tasty steak after. Compliments of fairway packing. Make the wise decision and get to Randy Wise today for your chance to win.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. So register today at OutdoorEquipCo.com, and even you could have DMAC on your landscaping crew.
Are you a diehard college football fan? Well, it's your lucky day. Join special WSN guests like Spencer Raxter, Flannel Sam, and more every Saturday. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Saturdays and tune in live from 8:30 to 10 a.m.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
How would you like to win a $100K Vegas giveaway? Take your friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Cintron Energy Drink It and Live It. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win. Register at drinkcintron.com/Vegas and buy Cintron at your local Meijer store. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. Look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself with Cintron. That's drinkcintron.com/Vegas.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Very special guest joining us, our good friend, John Macaroon, the publisher of All Lions and host of the Detroit Sports Podcast, joining the show. Welcome to the show, John. How you doing?
Thank you, guys. Big fans, obviously. Every morning, wake up, have a cup of coffee, check in with this great show. I appreciate the work you're doing. Thank you for having me on. Love talking football.
I can't wait, John. We got a lot to get to today. Obviously, with the Isaiah Buggs stuff, we'll just get that out of the way. You got your side of this, because me and Sam kind of talked about it earlier. To me, it's not a big storyline. I think it's as easy as there's, at least for the game plan, he obviously doesn't fit into the game plan, and there's a lot of depth already on this defensive line. Josh Pascal can move inside. You got Benito Jones now. What do you make of the Isaiah Buggs stuff?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying in terms of on the field, but the reason why everyone's talking about it is because why is a football player going to social media to scrub the team that he plays for that's giving him a large check? It's immature. And I know he kind of tried to downplay it, but everybody's watching what you're doing online. And when you're writing about relationships changing, scrubbing things from the Lions, and looking at the way in which you're conducting your business, it's not something that the Lions really are looking for. They're looking for all-in football players. And once, Isaiah Buggs did reveal, which is a little bit unusual for a player to come out in the media and say, hey, I'm not going to be playing. He did talk a little bit with a smaller group of reporters and said that he might be thinking this is a disciplinary decision by the Lions because he made the decision to stay away from the Lions a little bit due to family reasons, was having a child during the voluntary portion of the offseason. And, I understand both sides of it, where the Lions want players that are all in, but players at the same time do understand this is a business, and sometimes they make the decision to stay away and spend time with the family during the offseason. But the one thing you do recognize now is there's a player in the locker room that maybe is not exactly happy with the team that he's playing for.
And John, I kind of looked at it a little bit differently. When it comes to the Detroit Lions defensive line depth, I mean, you've got Ali McNeil, who I think will break out, but it's a think. We don't know it. Broderick Martin is obviously a rookie. The last time we saw Levi Onwuzurike on the field in a regular season game was 2021, and it was a mixed bag, I would say, at best. So do you think having a guy like Isaiah Buggs out at Kansas City in particular, even maybe moving forward, will hurt the Lions defense as a whole?
I look at it like, no, if the coaching staff decides that, look, Benito Jones really worked his way into many of the reporters' 53-man rosters. Early on, we kind of had him out, but then you just saw based on his play that, hey, this is a player that can come in and contribute. And look, football, the NFL, not for long. And sometimes there are players that come in and are going to do a better job for you. So I look at John Kaminsky, and just like you said, you have Ali McNeil, you have other players along that defensive front that I think are better than Isaiah Buggs. The issue is not really the decision, but you obviously look at, keeping the defensive line fresh so that they can continue to pressure the quarterback and stop the run and not overtaxing players that you don't know exactly what they're going to bring just yet in Benito Jones. But I look at it like when you're Isaiah Buggs and you want to stay in good graces, going online and telling everybody that you're not potentially happy with the team is not a good look to get yourself back on the field. Yeah, I think he's going to take it personally and work to get his way back, but that's just not the way to go about it. I think he should have took a more subdued approach to express his dissatisfaction. A lot of times they say, don't reveal what we're talking about to the media, and he just put it right out there for everybody to talk about.
Right. And John, another question for me, too. I mean, you got a chance to kind of have a one-on-one with Emmanuel Moseley. Can you give everybody kind of an update of his progression, the likelihood he plays, and what kind of impact he'll make once he gets out the field out there for the Detroit Lions?
Yeah, absolutely. Just before I came on and sat down, I did hit publish, and it's out there now. I had a Q&A with Emmanuel Moseley just after practice. I think it's a long shot when you look at what the Lions tend to do. They like to kind of put their players in the best position to succeed. Throwing them out there against the Chiefs week one to play a heavy dose of reps might be a stretch, especially since the first injury report came out and he was limited. But I do think this is a cornerback that fits exactly what Aaron Glenn loves. He told me he loves to hit. He's not scared of any wide receiver, and I think he's going to go out there and compete to play on the outside. Right now, that spot is taken by Jerry Jacobs, and I think he'll get the lion's share. Look, it's yet to be determined if Moseley will be out there, but if he is, you're not going to see him play all that much. It'll be in a reserve role because I think that Cam Sutton and Jerry Jacobs give you the best opportunity right now against the Chiefs because they had the entire training camp and have been through the entire process. But Emmanuel Moseley, when he comes in, he's going to give you a physical cornerback that's going to be able to help what Aaron Glenn loves, to play more man coverage. Last year, I know everybody was debating what Jeff Okudah could do with Ermanni Arawariye. I was one of the rare people that looked at training camp last year and said, hey, this football team talking about Ermanni taking that next step, he doesn't look like that. And obviously, when the season came, it didn't bear fruit, and Ermanni took a big step back. But now when you have three cornerbacks that I think are a lot better than what you put out last year, when Emmanuel does step foot on the field and has the opportunity to play, he's going to make a difference, and I think he's going to bring that physical presence that Aaron Glenn loves.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see this revamped secondary in week one, maybe not with Emmanuel Moseley, but moving forward with Emmanuel Moseley and all of them as well. I want to ask you about the rookies and how they relate to Thursday's game at Kansas City. So we all know in this 2023 draft, the Lions had 4 picks in the first 2 rounds, and I think we all expect them to contribute heavily to some extent. Which Detroit Lions rookie do you think will have the biggest impact on the first game at Arrowhead?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to give Lucas a bone here. Is it going to be Sam Laporta? Well, maybe, but maybe. I think that he'll be a safety valve for Jared Goff. But tight ends take a little bit of time. I think that, real interesting what Ben Johnson said about Jahmyr Gibbs. And he said something that I think maybe kind of threw a lot of people in a different direction than what I think. He said that maybe we're going to use Jahmyr Gibbs in a way that a lot of people may not think. And I think people think that means out of the backfield and being a receiver. You know what I think? I think he might get a lion's share of runs. Behind that offensive line, if you want a running back, maybe he gets a little bit more carries than David Montgomery does because he has that explosive nature. I know everybody's talking about the fact that Jahmyr Gibbs is this offensive weapon out of the backfield, but don't be surprised if they hand the ball off a lot more to Jahmyr Gibbs and let him run through that offensive line. That offensive line is tailor-made that even Lucas, Gabby, Jeff, you all could run through that offensive line and get 6 yards. So I think you give the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs and let the man cook.
Yeah, no doubt, John. Let's get to the bread and butter now, the Chiefs. And your thoughts on the matchup. What do you expect? How the game can be played out. This is Jared Goff's first time actually in Arrowhead. We know what happened the last time he played the Chiefs with the Rams. It was a high-scoring game. But how do you expect the game to play out, and what's your final score here? I don't know if you want to give it away yet, but let's get to it, John.
Yeah, look, I'm blessed. First opportunity, I'm going to be at Arrowhead. I'm looking forward to traveling on Wednesday. Yeah, I'm going to spend some time in Kansas City, eat some barbecue. I'm going to be in attendance to see the spectacle, to see the best, to see Patrick Mahomes and that offense, and to see how the Lions pass this test. Look, it's great. I think it's the best opportunity for us to see what this Lions defense is about against a quality opponent and matching wits with Andy Reid. Look, I think the best strategy is to control the time of possessions. Make sure your possessions are 5 to 6 minutes. Run the football and distribute the football evenly to the likes of Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds, Marvin Jones, Khalif Raymond. Keep the football, and the best way to not let Patrick Mahomes beat you is to keep his ass on the bench. And I think that's where if the line – I mean, I would love a shootout. I would love to see a Jared Goff type shootout matching wits with Mahomes, but that's not the best strategy. The best strategy is to control the game. And what Dan Campbell said to the media, I agree with. If you can get a couple turnovers, that gives you the best opportunity to compete and make this a fourth quarter close game. And you saw last year, they got a lot better in opportunities late to make plays and to be able to close the game out. That's the key. I think this is going to be a tough, hard-nosed game, and it's going to come down to the last 5 minutes. And if you want my prediction, it's going to come out Thursday morning at All Lions. I'll give you my detailed thoughts as to what the score is going to be.
There you go. And at this point, we would assume, right, John, like, I don't think Chris Jones is going to play. At least it's Tuesday, and they're not even close to a resolution, right?
Right, and if he does, he's not going to be full go. Like Dan Campbell said, that's the last thing we're worried about is Chris Jones, because if he's there, he's going to play 10 to 15 snaps on third down. He's not going to have that much of an impact missing that much time. I don't expect him to be there, and if he is, I think the Lions understand exactly what to do in order to get the football out quickly, move away from the strengths of that Chiefs defensive line. Look, man, the Lions offense is predicated on quick passes, quick decisions, and pounding the rock. And I think that this, just the opportunity for us to see the 5 healthy starting offensive linemen is going to make David Montgomery happy, Jahmyr Gibbs happy, and all the fans happy, because I think you're going to see exactly what the coaching staff wants. 5 yards a carry, pound the rock, and wear out the Chiefs by the time you get to the fourth quarter.
All right, so I have what some may call a hot take, but I think the audience is actually going to like it, and I kind of teased it on a previous show. I think if the if the Detroit Lions go into Arrowhead and beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 1, that the Lions will get the number 1 seed in the NFC going into the playoffs. Am I crazy for that take?
No, not at all. You have a lot of national media looking at this Detroit Lions football team. You look at everything that's going on. I'm really excited to see what this football team can do, and I'm really excited for everything that can happen with this Detroit Lions team. Yeah, it's going to be tough to defeat the Chiefs. It's going to be super tough. But if they do, you know the momentum that's going to be built off of that kind of a win in front of the entire nation. Look, you got to avoid injury. You got to be in a situation in which you can really sustain success. But yeah, it would not shock me if the Lions ended up being a top 3 seed and end up winning this division. This football team is built the way you want to have a football team built, in the trenches, and a veteran quarterback that understands the offense. It's going to be great.
No doubt. Appreciate it, John. Good stuff as always, man. We got to get you back on the show. Again, you can check out all his work, and you can go to si.com/NFL/Lions as well. John does great work over there, covers the Detroit Lions. And like you said, he'll have his results coming out Thursday. So I like the tease there, John. It's very smart of you, very smart. Publisher, All Lions, and host of the Detroit Sports Podcast. Appreciate you for joining, John.
Thank you, guys. One of the best morning shows around. Even though some may want to stir up a beef, you guys are a nice place to start. Every single morning, I have my coffee, talk shit in the chat room, and it's a fun opportunity. And guys, highlight Broder. He's a good guy and got a lot of great takes too.
There you go.
Broder's the man.
Showing
Thank
love.
you.
Yes, sir. Till next time, John. Before
Appreciate you, John.
we go to break, I got to tell you about our friends over at Planet Fitness because, guys, Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone where anybody, and I mean anybody, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, a full-body workout in just 30 minutes in their 30-minute circuit. All memberships include fitness training. You get all this for just $10 a month. Yes, they are still just $10 a month. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or www.planetfitness.com.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests, for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Academy Warren, they got a brand new state-of-the-art sports dome field house that has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, and soccer field that can also be used for 7-on-7 football. They also have things like small classroom sizes, which is ideal for all children, academic games, K-8 athletics, and don't forget the Academy Warren is now accepting enrollment. Go to theacademywarren.net. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Hit the like button. We just got over 100 likes. It supports the show, helps with the algorithm. It helps the network as well. Plenty more to get to. I want to get to the Michigan and Michigan State stuff because there's a couple different angles we can approach this on. We'll start with the Michigan stuff. I know we'll get to Michigan State. Keon Coleman, Florida State. What happened?
Gabby's excited for that.
Oh, baby.
And what unfolded there. Keon Coleman's a specimen. But we'll get to that. But we'll start with Michigan. Sam Flannel, your takeaways, some of the things you liked, maybe some things you didn't like. Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah,
Jesse Minter was the head coach out there.
Yes, and there were a couple of things that I liked in particular. One, of course, was J.J. McCarthy, and in particular, the J.J. McCarthy to Roman Wilson connection, which was on point. J.J. McCarthy threw 3 touchdown passes. He did live up to that number one. All 3 of them to Roman Wilson, but also Cornelius Johnson had a good game, as did Colston Loveland. But J.J. McCarthy, I know it was against Eastern Carolina, and a lot of people are going to say that it means nothing, but still, he looked crisp. He looked accurate. He was making NFL throws in the pocket, on the run, rolling out. It was a very, very good game by J.J. McCarthy, and he did everything that he could possibly do to kind of solidify his status as one of the best quarterbacks in the country, given the fact that ECU was on his schedule. Another thing that I liked is I liked the linebacker play and the defensive back play, even though both Will Johnson and Rod Moore didn't play in that game. I thought guys like Keon Sabb played very well, Josh Wallace, the UMass transfer, Mike Sanders still had a big pick, and then the linebackers, I would say the 2 linebackers in Nebraska transfer, Ernest Hausman and Junior Colson, were the best overall players on the field. They combined for 11 tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, were flying to the football. They were all over the field. I was very, very impressed by them. Surprisingly, what I was not impressed by was that Michigan running game, particularly the Michigan offensive line and their run blocking. They didn't get much of a push. It just seemed like it wasn't like the offensive lines of the previous couple years. I know that Blake Corum's stat line looks pretty, 10 carries for 73 yards, but that was heavily inflated by a couple of big runs, which is fine and all, but I was expecting more 4 or 5 yard, 6 yard runs. And then with Donovan Edwards, unfortunately, he was kind of the I would say the the opposite of the benefactor when it comes to the poor offensive line play. He only had 12 carries for 37 yards, just over 3 yards a carry. The Michigan run game overall averaged less than 4 yards a carry, and that needs to be better moving forward. And also, another thing that I didn't like as much was the Michigan defensive line and the edge rushers. Even though Eastern Carolina attempted 29 passes, Michigan did not record a single sack, which I'm not going to say is the most alarming thing in the world because they only allowed 3 points. But still, I would have liked to have seen someone get to the quarterback, especially maybe a couple people get to the quarterback in particular. And also, East Carolina actually rushed for higher yards per carry than Michigan did in that game. Eastern Carolina 4, Michigan 3.9. Overall, a very, very fine 30-3 win against an inferior opponent. There were things I like and things that I didn't like. But also, when it comes to Michigan, also Will Johnson and Rod Moore were out. So when they get healthy, when this team gels a little bit more, when Jim Harbaugh gets back, I expect them to be fine. And I think J.J. McCarthy showed a lot in the first game. I think he is going to have a huge, huge season. And it's just going to continue when Michigan plays in the Big Ten and teams like Penn State and Ohio State.
Jesse Adams says, you kept telling me these transfer O-linemen were going to be all world.
I mean,
I was told.
Well,
wait. It's the first game of the season.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not saying to bench them or anything like that. I'm just saying that they looked. We're talking about takeaways from one game and things they need to improve upon. I'm not denigrating them or anything.
And if you watch the game, they stacked the box.
That's
why JJ lit them up. So I'm not going to overreact to one game of them not even like struggling to run the football, but it's not like we've seen out of Michigan. I wouldn't put too much stock in it. Again, they took care of an East Carolina team with Jesse Minter as their head coach. They'll be fine.
Yes,
they'll be just fine. But moving on, Michigan State played Central last week. I got to say, though, I know it's Central, and Booner and me had this discussion on Saturday because he asked me over under 5.5 for Michigan State. And I said they'll hit the over. I think they'll win 6 games at the minimum. And you saw it. The thing I liked about what MSU showed, and the biggest question mark for me was defensively, specifically the secondary. But that defensive line, they had like 11 or 12 tackle for losses that got after the quarterback. I like what I saw out of Michigan State. I mean, Noah Kim looks solid. I'm not saying they're going to be world beaters, but I think Michigan State can come around and sneak away with about 6 or 7 wins. I don't think they'll be terrible.
I don't know if they're going to be terrible. We also have to remember Michigan State was down 7-3 to Central Michigan very, very late in the first half.
It looked scary.
And then all of a sudden it looked like Michigan State as a whole just kind of threw some metaphorical water on their face and was just like, we're going to lose to Central Michigan if we don't clean things up. And in the second half, Noah Kim in the passing game obviously looked very, very good. I think the defense overall played very, very well. I think their linebackers and their front seven overall is going to be a little bit better than people think. Their secondary still scares me a bit if I'm a Michigan State fan, but still, I don't want to hear about, oh my God, Michigan State looks so impressive against Central Michigan, but then also people saying that Michigan didn't look impressive against Eastern Carolina. They both were very, very fine. If you beat any opponent by 20-plus points, it's all well and good. I think Michigan and Michigan State should both feel pretty happy with how the weekends went, with some things to improve on. That's how week one usually goes.
And at least for Michigan State, defensively, again, you have Mel Tucker and one of the highest paid coaches, period, in college football. This guy, you got to produce. And I think 5.5 wins is ridiculous. I mean, you should be able to hit the over on that, considering the roster they have. It's not all-time great, but it's good enough to at least win, again, 6 games.
Oh, yeah.
6 games. And I'm pretty sure Spencer thinks he'll hit the over, too. I think that's fair. But speaking of MSU connection, Keon Coleman took his talents over to Florida State. 3 touchdown passes against Brian Kelly's defense. I want to say this, too, about Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly is just good enough not to get fired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
His name, it's just his
like
name
he's just
point.
mid.
He's just, and he doesn't like, I don't know who he's motivating. Like, I don't really understand what Brian Kelly does good. Like, what has kept him in college football?
Guys, that's an overreaction.
Okay, what do you think?
Oh, that's okay. Defend your man then.
No, I'm not.
Defend your guy.
Brian Kelly is not my man. I'm just saying that.
But as of recently.
But he made college football playoffs at Notre Dame. He never won a national championship or anything. But Brian Kelly is one of the 7 to 10 best coaches in college football, maybe even top 5. But I get it. I'm not saying that he's going to win a natty at LSU or anything like that. And that game was definitely a stain, losing by 21 against Florida State. But still, I don't want to hear too much Brian Kelly slander like he should be fired or anything like that. Or
No. No one's saying he should be fired. What I'm saying is for Brian Kelly, coach of LSU, when he came there, I remember he had the Southern accent, right? The fake Southern accent. It was so cheesy, and he got a lot of crap for that. I respect Brian Kelly for what he did at Notre Dame. Won a natty. All that's great.
Didn't win a natty.
Or got close to winning a natty. All that's great. But I don't want to. Me saying he's mid is essentially just saying people overrate Brian Kelly. You just said it yourself. I don't think he's going to win a natty or anything. Then what are you doing?
Well,
then what is Brian Kelly, Sam Flannel?
I mean,
the hell is he? He'll just keep you relevant? That's my point.
As a college coach, and a lot of Michigan fans aren't going to like this, he's Jim Harbaugh. That's what Brian Kelly is. Brian Kelly and Jim Harbaugh are basically right there.
That's not a good. Regardless,
it's not a good look, Flannel.
Yeah. Keon Coleman, though, your takeaways. What'd you think?
Absolutely fantastic. I think it's just one of those cases where you see the transfer portal working well, putting him in a new position at a new school with a new opportunity with a new quarterback, and I think the energy between him and Jordan Travis was there. It was firing, and what I love to hear is during the broadcast they touched on how Jordan Travis and Keon Coleman have been staying after practice and running the routes and going over what they need to be going over and reviewing after practice, so that relationship was there, so that they could build that chemistry going into this season. And it's one of those cases where this is not an overnight snap of the fingers kind of thing. They put in the work. They had the patience. I think that's the entirety of Jordan Travis's career in college football, and I think you're seeing it here now, and you're seeing it pay off.
No, it was a big time win. I mean, even for Florida State with Jordan Travis, I mean, that's a guy. The quarterback battle, at least at the beginning of that game, it was close. It was tit for tat, and then it seemed like, hey, Florida State just kind of took off and never came back.
Oh yeah.
And Keon Coleman, man, that dude is special. I know he said, what was the comment he said about MSU? It was like a 2-year sentence at MSU, he said. He said something like that.
I mean, if I had to play college football for Michigan State, it would be a 2-year sentence for me too. But man, I was so happy to watch. I hope MSU fans were sobbing tears of sadness watching Keon Coleman. But anywho, speaking of college football, we got a new show that debuted this past Saturday. I was on it, Stick was on it, Anson was on it, we had Parker and we had Nick, and it is called For the Love of College Football. Do you love college football? Well, Woodward Sports loves college football. That's why we're bringing you Woodward Sports For the Love of College Football pregame show, the latest WSN show to tune into on the YouTube channel. Spencer Raxter, myself, Flannel Sam, Easy, and many more get you ready for college football kickoff. We got another episode this Saturday, the 9th, from 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Whether you are a Sparty, Wolverine, or a fan of that other team that we won't mention, we welcome you all to start your day of loving college football with Woodward Sports Network every single week.
I love that, man. And people chime in the chat thread as well. People talking about Brian Kelly. Super Saiyan Lion says, I really don't like Kelly either, but he's better more natties than Harbaugh. That's a fact. And that is a fact. That is a fact, and that's fair.
But I'm a crazy person for basically comparing him to Jim Harbaugh. And I love Jim Harbaugh, but Jim Harbaugh's only been to 2 college football playoffs. Brian Kelly was very, very good at Notre Dame. Very good.
Yeah, now you're at LSU. Recruiting should be easy. Should be a layup. So we'll see with Brian Kelly in about 2 to 3 years. Natty incoming. Should be. We'll see. We'll go to break when we get back. I want to get to prediction week. 9 o'clock is when we start. It's prediction week, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get into MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, so on and so forth. We'll get all our predictions out, stamp them, and then we'll revisit them when the time comes. But before we get into all of that, I got to hear about our friends from Swiss Insurance.
Absolutely. Do you have football on the brain? Fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year is gonna be awesome. Fall is also a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at swissins.com or call 248-800-4177. Again, that is 248-800-4177, Swiss Insurance.
Winners, losers, pushes and draws, over-unders, prop bets, futures and spreads. Are you sick and tired of your picks being losers? Do you want to learn how to bet like a champion? Well, Woodward Sports searched the globe for the most dangerous man with a bet slip in his hand and gave him a show. Coming soon to Woodward Sports. Tune in every weekend as we introduce the greatest gambler to ever walk the earth.
Hi, I'm Booner, and I don't lose.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Check out Woodward Sports Network on YouTube, the best sports coverage by the best personalities in Metro Detroit. Stop settling for constant Kool-Aid drinking and get to the content that counts. Our experts know the inside scoop on the teams and are not afraid to share their real opinions. Subscribe to Woodward Sports on YouTube today.
It's time. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It's prediction week. Parker, you got to unmute his mic. By the way, we got Parker. He's in the auto booth for JB. He's working out some kinks. All right, he's just giving some time here. Lucas, what were you saying?
It's time, Jeff.
There you go.
It is prediction time. It's game week. It's time to bring the juice, baby. It is time to bring the juice.
It's time to bring the juice. All right, let's get to it. We'll start with the biggest award, probably, the award we kind of went back and forth over already about last week, but MVP. MVP. We'll start with you, Sam Flannel. Who's your MVP? 2023, 2024.
Did Patrick Mahomes retire? The defending MVP, the defending Super Bowl MVP. I think he's going to have another huge year. He's still got Travis Kelce, still has Andy Reid, and I will tell you what, that Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver core, if Kadarius Toney can stay healthy, if an underrated signing Richie James can stay healthy, with MVS, with Rashee Rice, the rookie, Sky Moore hopefully taking a leap, that to me looks like a pretty good offense, and I think that Kansas City will win 12 or 13 games. Patrick Mahomes will throw at least 40 TD passes. Give me Patrick Mahomes for MVP to the shock of no one.
Patrick Mahomes for MVP? Let me just pick the guy that's favored. He's the favorite. But that's your guy, though.
Yeah, it's my guy. Yes.
What am I going to do with him, man?
It's Patrick Mahomes. It's Patrick Mahomes.
I'll say this.
Big hot take by me. Patrick Mahomes, best player in the world.
Parker, give me my theme music. All right, give me my theme music. Give me my theme music. I'm getting into it. My MVP, the man with the luscious hair, Trevor Lawrence.
Now I gotta think of a new.
No, you ride with him?
Yeah, we're riding.
Let's ride with him. All right, give me Trevor Lawrence.
Dog.
Give me Trevor Lawrence, or as Nick Wright calls him, the Young Prince. The Young Prince. The man in the AFC that I'm telling you for years to come will go toe-to-toe with your man, Patrick Mahomes, and I think the Jaguars are going to shock a lot of people this year. I think they can win 11, 12, hell, at the most, even 13 games. They're a damn good football team. Hot take, but F it.
Hot take. Jaguars could very easily be the #1 seed in the AFC this year. Very, very easily. And if that happens, that means Trevor Lawrence is playing well. Calvin Ridley's balling out. That defense has stepped up, which they have a lot of young talent. I expect them to do so. I'm all in on Trevor Lawrence. And the money, if you place a bet on that right now, you'll be a rich man come down to the season. Place it now because he's going to be tearing through the AFC South.
And this is what I like about the Trevor Lawrence love, right? People look back 2 years ago, well, he looked bad his rookie year or last year. Well, he struggled in this game, and in this game, guys, it's year 3. Like, it's time for him to take another jump. Like, people think he's just going to be how he was last year the rest of his career. No, actually, let me introduce something to you. It's a concept called player development. And Trevor Lawrence, who's a #1 overall pick and arguably one of the greatest prospects at quarterback coming out in college, he's going to get better, guys, for those who don't know. So, third year, Trevor Lawrence, he's going to arrive, and he's going to put up great numbers, and I think he could be one of the better teams in the AFC. So that's my MVP. Lucas, I'm assuming you agree?
Yep. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a Peyton Manning-like trajectory as far as the first year, won absolutely nothing, looked pretty bad. You bring in Doug Peterson, that's going to help a lot. You bring in Calvin Ridley, give him his little Marvin Harrison out there with, like I'm saying, with the Peyton Manning comparison in the AFC South, no less. I really think that Trevor Lawrence, the prospect that he was an Andrew Luck. He was the best quarterback prospect in Andrew Luck. And you saw in that playoff game in that second half, you saw every bit of what Trevor Lawrence could be. And even against the Chiefs when they went into Arrowhead, he still played well. Now, he wasn't playing Patrick Mahomes level.
Yep.
But for the position that he was in, at the age he's in, going into Arrowhead, I liked what I saw. You give him more talent, another year with Doug Peterson, I think he is going to cook this year.
Let's move on. Defensive Player of the Year. Sam Flannel, I'll start with you. Who do you got?
Well, before I give my pick, I may or may not just bet on it. And there is one man at Woodward to go to when you need your lock on College Game Day. He does not lose. If you should take the under for the Bears on Sunday, or if you just need to know how many glizzies Joey Chestnut is going to house this year. And that man is Booner of Woodward Bets. Have no fear. Booner is locking in all of football season to bring you the best picks only on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel, Saturdays at 11 a.m. and Sundays at 11:30 a.m. It premiered on September 2nd. We do another show on September 9th next Saturday. College football, he's got you. NFL football, you know it. Woodward Bets, watch on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. And for my Defensive Player of the Year, I have one Micah Parsons, the man who has finished second both of his years in the NFL. I have another hot take for you guys. Are you ready for this one? Micah Parsons finishes this season with 20 sacks. He had 13 one year and 13 and a half the next year, or it might have been inverse, but still, 26 and a half in his first 2 years. The thing about Micah Parsons is you see his talent. You see that he can just go for explosive games at a moment's notice. Last season, he had 6 multiple sack games, and I think he'll have the same this year, but he also had 9 games in which he did not record a sack, and I think he will be more consistent. He'll get consistent pressure on the quarterback. He's also very, very good against the run, and this Cowboys defense, having DeMarcus Lawrence on the opposite ends, means you're not going to get doubled as much, although people are going to double Micah Parsons. Picking up Stephon Gilmore in the secondary will mean that receivers will be covered a little bit longer, and I think the Cowboys will win 11 and 12 or 12 games, and their defense will be good. Give me Micah Parsons for Defensive Player of the Year.
Give me TJ Watt.
Ooh.
Lucas!
Hey. You took it again.
See? Baltimore.
I'll go with my 1B.
Well, and now let me tell you why though, because for those people who can't comprehend the impact that TJ Watt has. By the way, tied Strahan's sack record 2 years ago, was hurt last year.
Did.
Do you know what the Steelers team record is with and without TJ Watt since 2017? Without TJ Watt, they're 0-6.
Wow.
With TJ Watt, they're 52, 24, and 2.
That's incredible.
Points per game allowed with TJ Watt, 20. Without, 26. Sacks per game with 3.5. Without, 1.7. Think about the impact this man has. And again, this is a guy who can play in coverage, can get picks, force fumbles, pass deflections. Like he's gonna dial a phone number in the stat sheet. And I think he even said it himself. I'm coming for Strahan's record. Look out for TJ Watt. I think he's winning that award. Talk to me, Lucas. What do you got?
TJ Watt was my pick, and I'm going to go with the good value one that I don't believe he's a lock to do it by any means, but if you want to make some money, I would invest some potential stock into Brian Burns this year. I think Brian Burns, you talk about a guy that could lead the league in sacks with all the ability. There's some noise that he might get traded out of Carolina, but I don't think so. I think he's going to get payday. I think Brian Burns explodes on the NFL this year. I'm just saying, watch out for Brian Burns. I think he's on the same level up as there's Hutch as far as Defensive Player of the Year potential.
That's fair.
He's a dog. Parker, what do you think? What pick do you like the best? We got Micah, TJ Watt, and Brian Burns.
Man, it's between TJ Watt and Micah Parsons, in my opinion, but Micah Parsons has proven that he's easily one of the best defensive players in the NFL, so I personally have to go with Micah Parsons.
Solid. It's Parker, not Meadows for you, man. It's solid. He's holding it down. Holding it down without JB. Appreciate you, Parker. Let's move on. We'll get to our next award winner here. Next up on the list, you guys know what it is. Offensive Player of the Year.
Ooh.
Offensive Player of the Year. I'll give you mine. It's easy. Jamar Chase.
Oh.
And I think Jamar Chase is going to win the award. I know, at least for him, Joey Burrow, due for a contract, has yet to get one for whatever reason. Jamar Chase is coming up on a contract as well. And I don't know if we've seen the best of Jamar Chase. I think you get it this year. And I think they're going to need it this year out of Jamar. That defense, they lost a couple pieces. They're going to need to score more points. They just are, and it's going to come through one guy, and I think one guy only, besides T. Higgins, who I think is a dog. It's Jamar Chase. Give me Jamar Chase, Offensive Player of the Year.
That is a very, very good choice. My choice is going to be none other than Patrick Mahomes to win both MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. Hey, wait a minute, guys. You may say, oh my God, that never happens. It never happens. A quarterback doesn't win Offensive Player of the Year, except it did happen in 2018 when it was done by none other than Patrick Mahomes. It also happened in 2016.
With Tyreek?
Okay,
keep going.
That's all well and good.
Was that Kareem Hunt too?
Well, I'm not sure. It might have been.
Sorry.
I think it was.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Sam. Go on.
Did Patrick Mahomes win the MVP last year without Tyreek Hill?
You're talking
was I
Offensive
dreaming?
Player of the Year too.
Okay, okay, and that's fine. And Patrick Mahomes, I think he could throw at least 45 touchdown passes, and the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what? I got another hot take. This season, Patrick Mahomes will throw over 40 touchdown passes and under 10 interceptions. He will have arguably the best season of his career with that wide receiver core that is underrated. Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, and all of that. And Patrick Mahomes will be so far above every other quarterback, they will have no choice but to award it to Patrick Mahomes. And like I said before, there is precedent. It happened in 2018 with Mahomes. That's my pick, and I'm sticking to it.
What about you, Lucas? I got Jamar. He's got Mahomes.
As much as I hate to say it, I think it's going to be Justin Jefferson. I think he's going to get absolutely fed this year. I think he's going to eat. I was debating between him or Tyreek Hill because I could see Tyreek Hill going for 2,000 this year if Tua stays healthy. But at the end of the day, there's Jalen Waddle there too. There's a lot of talent. Justin Jefferson's running the whole show pretty much for Minnesota offensively. Obviously, Kirk Cousins got to give him the ball. But without Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins is essentially Ryan Tannehill. So I think he... Close to 2,000 yards again, very similar production. I think it's going to go to Justin Jefferson.
Zach says, just when I thought Sam Flannel was going to have something better.
He's the best player in the world. Like you guys act like I'm picking Daniel Jones or something.
He's going to get the triple crown like Cooper Kupp or something.
Give him MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year. Can he play defense? Give him Defensive Player of the Year.
I mean, he put so much pressure on the defense because of the way that the offense moves. You might as well.
Let's move on. We'll get to Coach of the Year. For me, this is very simple. I'm putting all my money on Dan Campbell. I just think he's due. He checks all the boxes. I'll give you a sneaky one too. Sean Payton with Denver.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you, I like Denver a lot. I know people are out on Russell Wilson because of one bad year, but I just want to stick with Dan Campbell for a second. When you look at Coach of the Years, now he's got to win probably more likely 11, 12 games, probably 12 he secures it, but 11 I think at the minimum. The other part of it is the storyline, which I think he has. The storyline, not only are you coaching the Detroit Lions, but where they started, the narrative with Dan, the amount of love he gets. I think it's Dan Campbell's award to lose. Give me Dan Campbell for Coach of the Year.
All right, and my first choice is obviously Dan Campbell because I think they'll win the division, and I think that'll get even him the narrative vote as the Detroit Lions division-winning head coach. Even though they won 9 games last year, they still didn't make the playoffs. I think it's Dan Campbell's to lose as well. But if you're giving me a sleeper, and this is an extreme sleeper, so don't go crazy, how about DeMeco Ryans? I think
I'm sleeping on him.
Okay, fine. But
he's not bad, but
they're
Coach
not
of the Year
making
this
the
year.
playoffs.
I think they'll win 7 or 8 games, though. I think that roster in that situation is a little bit better than people give him credit for, and he gets to coach one guy by the name of Will Anderson, who I have very high hopes on. I just think that the Houston Texans will be improved. If he can somehow get them even fighting for a playoff spot, he will get consideration. I think Dan Campbell will win it, but I don't want to be boring and redundant, so I'm going to go with DeMeco Ryans as a sleeper.
Nobody says in the chat, Rich Gannon.
Oh, God.
Jonathan
Gannon, you mean?
Yeah, well, Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, but Jonathan Gannon, he might be fired. He might have a Nathaniel Hackett tenure. He might be out
Dude,
mid-season.
Jonathan Gannon is going to flame out quicker than that speech you had about do you feel it in your guts. Yeah, whatever. Pause on that. I don't know what he meant by that, but that's weird. Let's move on here. Before we go to break, I want to get through Offensive Rookie of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year. We got a couple minutes left, and we'll get to division winners, of course. But we'll start with Offensive Rookie of the Year. Sam Flannel, what do you think?
It is 100% going to be Bijan Robinson, the best back coming out.
I thought you were going to say Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, yeah, because he can win it all somehow. The best running back prospect since Saquon Barkley. And I think the thing that's going to work for Bijan Robinson as well is that Arthur Smith system with guys like Chris Lidstrom and Caleb McGarry, who are excellent run blockers. I think he's actually going into a situation when it comes to running that is similar to what Ezekiel Elliott came into in 2016 with the Cowboys. Not quite as good. That offensive line had Tyron Smith and Zach Martin and Travis Frederick and all of that. But the Atlanta Falcons, they were that running game system with Arthur Smith. I mean, Arthur Smith was the offensive coordinator for Tennessee when Derrick Henry had over 2,000 yards. Their offensive line is very good when it comes to run blocking. And Tyler Algier was a 1,000-yard rusher last year. So give me Bijan Robinson to win Offensive Rookie of the Year and lead the NFC in rushing as a rookie.
Give me Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay.
Give me Jahmyr freaking Gibbs for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I believe in him. I think the usage will be there. And you got to think, too, when Alvin Kamara won the award back when he came out, he had Mark Ingram rush for over 1,000 yards. But guess what? Kamara had 800. He won it. And I do think Jahmyr can have a similar stat line on a team that's winning games. Bijan, there's a chance he could go down to injury. Or who knows? Maybe him and Algier split some carries. Who knows? Who knows? It's the NFL. You got Patterson out there. Give me Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he puts enough numbers to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, and I'm confident he can do that. Most explosive weapon, I think, this upcoming season as a rookie. I think he can burst. He can take one carry, one catch for 80 yards. I think those add up, and I think Jahmyr can win that award. Bijan's his biggest competitor, though. It really depends on what kind of year he has. But give me Jahmyr. What about you, Lucas?
I've said this for a while. I think it's going to be Bryce Young. I think the Panthers have a very good chance of winning the NFC South, and if you have a rookie quarterback doing so, he's got some nice protection and some veteran pieces around him. I like Miles Sanders as the running back because he can catch a little bit out of the backfield, and that defense in Carolina is built to protect him as far as they're not going to be in, I think, a lot of blowouts. Yes, the Panthers aren't going to be a 10-7 team. I think they're probably going to be like a 8-9, maybe 7-10, but I still think Bryce Young, when you have a young quarterback who plays well and efficiently, which I think Bryce Young is going to do, and he can hurt the defense with his legs, I really think he's going to be the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
What do you think about Defensive Rookie of the Year? I mean, we'll go to break here. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Sam Flannel, what do you think? And why is it Will Anderson?
Of course it's going to be Will Anderson because Will Anderson is going to break the rookie sack record as a rookie, which was set by Javon Curse. I believe he had 14.5. Will Anderson, I think this year, the problem was people were nitpicking. If they would, I have an extreme hot take on this one. I think if Will Anderson would have came out the year before when he was the best prospect in the country, even above Aiden Hutchinson and Trayvon Walker, that whatever team he would have went to, he would have had 10 or 11 sacks. People don't understand how great this guy was in college and how great he is as a prospect. His second to last year at Alabama, over 31 tackles for loss, 17.5 sacks. This guy is just different. He will make an impact on day one, and just he is going to lead the resurgence of this Houston Texans defense with a defensive coach in D'Amico Ryans. Give me Will Anderson.
If I'm being real with you, I can't really disagree with him. I think Will Anderson wins the award.
Are we all unanimous Will Anderson?
Yeah, I would say Will Anderson, but I'll give a little nugget. I think Jack Campbell's like top 3. I think Jack's in the race too. I think because I think we'll have the tackles, the tackle for losses, maybe a pick, a sack. He'll do a lot of different things to get him in the conversation. But I think Will Anderson wins it, man.
Think he has a bone in the race, Jack Campbell, do you?
Yeah, I do. Over Brian Branch. Just because Brian has to fight over better player. I mean, he'll play, but Jack, it's wide open. He can go out there and start play. Brian Branch he's going to have to really earn it. And I think Brian will have a great rookie year, but I think Jack will be in the race. I do.
It's Will Anderson if it's not, hate to say it, but
Jalen Carter?
Jalen Carter.
I didn't want to say it, but he's 2. He's 2. I said he'll be top 3. Jalen's 2.
Jalen's 2.
Yeah, he's a 2.
None of us wanted to say it, but
he's a dog.
We had to get to that point. We got to be very, very real.
You gotta say it, man. You just got to. Let's go to break. When we get back, I want to get into division winners. We'll pick division winners around the NFL and much more. But I got to tell you about our friends over at Big Boy before we do that. Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. It's burger time. Try the best cheeseburger or their new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Upgrade your regular fries with their chili cheese and loaded baked potato fries. Don't forget, satisfy all your taste buds at Big Boy.
Come hang with the Woodward Sports Crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays. Join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown Detroit Lions!
With money on the line. Featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness!
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Calling all landscapers, how would you like to landscape like a legend? Register for your chance for 4-time Stanley Cup winner Darren McCarty to work your crew for a day. That's right, Darren McCarty on your zero-turn weed whipping and edging for your favorite clients. Sign up today at OutdoorEquipco.com. That's OutdoorEquipco.com.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. We're going to continue prediction week because, again, this Thursday it starts. The NFL season's upon us. You can't get your predictions out after Thursday. Got to get them out before. We're going to get them out today. Spend really most of the second hour of the show getting all our predictions out. Division winners, award winners, so on and so forth. Even Super Bowl picks, AFC Championship game, NFC Championship game, and then, of course, Wednesday, Thursday. It's all Lions Chiefs. So let's get this thing going.
Game day, baby.
It gets real.
Give me my theme music.
Give me my theme music. The breakdown of the games, all that stuff. Matchups, we'll get into all that tomorrow. But let's continue prediction week here. Division winners. Let's start with the AFC. Okay, AFC East. Buffalo Bills, New York Jets, Miami Dolphins, New England Patriots. Sam Flannel, tell us why the Jets are winning the division.
Yes, it is going to be the New York Jets. Remember something, guys. Last season, the New York Jets had the 4th-ranked scoring defense in the NFL. They re-signed Quinnen Williams. Of course, Sauce Gardner is on a rookie deal, opposite DJ Reed, who is a good cornerback too. CJ Mosley at linebacker. And I think one of these two things will happen. Either Will McDonald will have a breakout rookie year, or Jermaine Johnson will break out in his second year to give him the more consistent pass rush. And of course, offensively, you replace the corpse of Joe Flacco, Mike White, and Zach Wilson with Aaron Rodgers, who's got something to prove, got something left in the tank. Two great running backs, arguably the best running back tandem in the NFL with Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook, and a young stud in Garrett Wilson, who, in my opinion, will put up at least 1,400 receiving yards this year and be fighting for an all-pro spot. Give me the Jets with that revamped offense with that already great defense.
That's fair. But you're wrong, and I'll tell you why.
All right.
Okay? Buffalo Bills are winning that division again. They are, and I'll tell you why. Did Josh Allen die? No, he didn't.
No.
He'll be fine. Now, last year, even in a year where he threw a ton of interceptions, he couldn't help himself but to turn the ball over. They still won the damn division. So you think about it. Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, that relationship, if it can get back to what it was 2 years ago, they're going to be just fine defensively. They got Von Miller coming back. I like the Bills to win that division once again. Now, I think it'll be a close division. I think Miami's a sleeper if Tua can stay healthy. I think the Jets could win 9 games. I ain't thinking they're going to win any more than that. I know you like them to win the division, but I think they'll be second, third. That division's it's going to be close. But give me the Bills to edge them out. I think 12 wins that division. I think the Bills can do it.
Let me tell you why you're both wrong. The Miami Dolphins. Now, not only do they have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and in my opinion, what is the best receiving core in the NFL, they're going to have a healthy Tua, and they're going to make sure he's protected or do their best to do so. And my favorite thing is they're going to have Jeff Wilson after Week 4, so he's going to be fresh. Jeff Wilson and Mike McDaniel, they go back. They have their ways, especially back in San Francisco. But my favorite thing about this Dolphins team is that defense.
Without Jalen Ramsey.
Without Jalen Ramsey for the beginning of the season. But when you got an offense like that, and you still have Xavier Howard, Javon Holland, my bad. that defense is going to be rolling. Christian Wilkins, Jalen Phillips up front with Bradley Chubb off the edge. I'm sorry, I think that's the best division in this or defense in this division. I hear the Jets, I really do, but when you add Jalen Ramsey to Xavier Howard, instantly, that's more experience than the Jets, and it's up there with the talent because Xavier Howard's better than DJ Reed. As much as I like DJ Reed, and the Dolphins have better safety play, and you add Cam Smith into that mix. I'm all in on the Dolphins. I think they'll win the AFC East, but I don't think they'll go the farthest in the playoffs just because I still think they have that to learn. But they're definitely going to be the regular season heroes out of the AFC East.
Right now, I put the poll in the chat. 53% have the Bills. 29% coming in second in the Dolphins. In third place, the Jets. So we shall see. I think all that's predicated on if Tua can stay healthy. I think it's as easy as that. We got to get going here because time is flying and we only through one division. AFC North, Steelers, Browns, Ravens, Bengals. Sam Flannel, what do you think? Let's try and speed this up a little bit.
All right, I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns for the upset of the century because I think that Deshaun Watson gets back to being a 2020 Deshaun Watson and has a resurgent season and wins comeback player of the year. We all know about the running game, that offensive line, Nick Chubb, the weapons with Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore and Donovan Peoples-Jones. David Njoku actually had a pretty good year last year. And it all depends on that defense. Myles Garrett resigning Zadarius Smith, having bookend 10-sack guys. Let's see if Denzel Ward can bounce back from a slightly disappointing year last year. I got the Cleveland Browns. They're going to go as far as Deshaun Watson takes them, and he's going to be a lot better than last year. So give me the Browns in the upset. And plus, the Cincinnati Bengals have a shaky secondary. We'll see how Cam Taylor-Britt goes, but still.
I was told the Chiefs had a shaky secondary last year. They did just fine. So give me the Bengals to win that damn division because I'm telling you one thing. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, who's mid, but still solid. Decent O-line, Joe Burrow. And at least you look at who they added. Tight end, they added Irv Smith Jr. I know he's like it's Irv Smith Jr.
Athlete.
Solid, though. I like Irv Smith. I think Joe Burrow can make Irv Smith a respectable tight end. I like what the Bengals are building still. Even with the concerns about the secondary, one thing that always can overcome that, Lucas, you can explain this to the people better. It's Joe frickin' Burrow or an elite quarterback. Like it's like saying to the Chiefs, I'm worried about their secondary, but then there's Mahomes just making plays. So give me the Bengals to win that division.
I've been drinking some Kool-Aid. I've been cheating. I haven't just been sipping Honolulu Blue Kool-Aid. Been drinking that Pittsburgh Steelers Kool-Aid. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers win this division. I think people are sleeping on this team majorly. It's not about Kenny Pickett. It's about Mike Tomlin. It's about Mike Tomlin and what he's going to do with this roster. I think they're going to be. They were winning. They made it to the playoffs with Mason Rudolph. Okay, people
that is true.
Overlook that.
That is true.
Defense is better. They have, in my opinion, their best wide receiver in their last 5 years with George Pickens. Deontay Johnson had a one-off season last year. He had 0 touchdowns. That's going to change. Pat Freiermuth is solid. He's nothing great, but he's like a Dallas Goedert type of guy. And they're going to have a nice backfield behind Kenny Pickett with Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. And they got Washington out of Georgia, who's going to help be an extra offensive line. I think this is going to be a really good running game with a good defense. I think Pittsburgh is going to be a team that kind of smacks a lot of upper echelon teams in the mouth this year, and I think they win that division. I think the Bengals come in second.
Ryan's reaction, he's been on your side. You guys have been in lockstep. He said Lucas knows ball. He says Mike Tomlin is an all-time great coach.
He's never had a losing season. And this team is not going to happen this season. I think their floor at the bare minimum is 9 games, right? With their roster. You had Mike Tomlin, I think it's a 10-11 win team. And that could win this division.
My question is, you ready to get into a shootout with Joe Burrow?
They really have never had that, though.
Okay, but let's say a one possession game in the fourth quarter.
They had
Kenny
that last
Pickett
year.
versus
You know
Joe Burrow.
Happened? Mr. Cam Sutton got a pick to win it.
And where's he now?
He's in Lions, but you know what I think? They got Patrick Peterson. And I'm not saying that he's this upper, but that's a veteran guy that you can build around. They got
they do got TJ Watt
Joey
back.
Porter out of Pittsburgh or out of Penn State. I think this defense is going to be just fine.
All right.
They've not.
I want to see your face. Listen,
I was all in on the Bengals. I was just thinking about it, and I'm just like, I got this gut feeling.
Oh, that gut feeling. Is it what Jonathan Gannon expects? Is it the fire in your gut?
Signal.
Okay.
Jonathan Gannon. Senses. It's the ball-knowing senses.
Jonathan Gannon would ask you, you got fire in those guts.
Yeah, I'm not.
Seems like you do.
Jonathan Gannon has nothing to do with this. Mike Tomlin would ask me a different question. You ready to go out there and ball? Yes, coach.
Yeah, see, Mike, he's a real one. But yeah, well, you're rolling with the Steelers. Let's move on here. And this one I think we can just kind of swift through easily. AFC South.
Jaguars.
Yep, Jags.
Let's move on. It's the Jags. Okay. AFC West.
Chiefs.
Oh my gosh.
The Chiefs. There's no debate here. Oh my God! Don't tell me you're taking Sean Payton and the Broncos, man.
You know what?
Don't tell me you're doing that.
No. I think the Chiefs win it by 1 win. I think the Chiefs win 11 games. The Broncos win 10. Yeah.
You're giving the Chiefs 11?
11. Or 12.
I guess no Chris Jones, so yeah, maybe
11 or 12. Take your whatever it is, but I think the Broncos win 10. I do. I think the Broncos come in second place in that division. The whole Chargers experiment, although I like the roster, I like Herbert, I get all of that. I'm out on Brandon Staley. I think Kellen Moore is an upgraded OC, but I'm not trusting anything the Chargers are doing until Staley's out of there. So give me the Broncos in second place.
All right, fair
but
enough.
the Chiefs, of course, they're going to win the division.
All I'm saying is they keep trying to come after the king. They keep trying to revamp all the rosters to come after the king, and nobody has succeeded in 5 years, and nobody will for 5 more years at least.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that at the Super Bowl predictions. I can't wait to share who I got, Sam Flannel. It's going to piss you off, that's for sure.
I can't wait.
Let's go to break. When we get back, we'll do the NFC, and then, of course, we'll get to our Super Bowl and, of course, the AFC Championship game, NFC Championship predictions, and so on and so forth. But before we do that, I got to tell you, or excuse me, Sam has to tell you about our friends over at Guardian Alarm.
Absolutely. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Have you ever argued with your little brother? How about some random guy you're stuck in a room with for an hour? Flannel Sam and Spencer Raxter are at each other's throats. One Spartan alumni and one Walmart Wolverine are locked in a room with nowhere to hide. You're welcome. Whether it's go blue or go green, you can go to woodwardsports.com for all the action. Coming soon to a device near you.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. Experience Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks or order online at fairwaypacking.com.
It's prediction week here on the Morning Woodward Show on the Woodward Sports Network. Let's continue through the NFC. We'll try to get through this a little bit quickly here. We'll start with the NFC East. Eagles won it last year, Sam Flannel. Who do you got winning it this year?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Eagles. I think they still have the best roster in football, and the way that they drafted really well, getting Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, I think that can help replace some of what they lost with Javon Hargraves. We shall see. I just think I'm not going to be too long-winded on this one. Give me the Eagles, the defending NFC champs, to repeat as the NFC East division winner.
This is hard for me to say. Super hard. I mean, Lucas knows. This is going to be tough for me to say. I'm going to say the Cowboys.
Ugh.
I know.
Shame!
I'm not saying
you're taking Rain Dakota Prescott.
Well, not in the postseason, but I think the Cowboys as a roster, and also the Eagles, you can't deny they lost some pretty important pieces. They lost both their offensive and defensive coordinators. There hasn't been a consistent winner in this division in like 10 years. I'll give you the Cowboys. But they fall short in the playoffs. But I'm gonna take the Cowboys to win the NFC East. I am.
I'm going Philly. Yes, there hasn't been a team to repeat back-to-back in this division in 10 years, but I don't think there's been a team that's been as built organically and as deep as Philly. I think there's very few holes in this roster. You could say the linebackers or safeties, but I like Reed Blankenship even for their safety position. Yeah. And I think there's just a couple holes, especially on this Cowboys offensive line. They're going to be shaky, and you need that when you have Dak Prescott as your quarterback. I don't see Tony Pollard staying healthy for a full 17 games, so give me the Eagles, man. I think they repeat.
Let's get to the NFC North, which you can watch me and other special guests talk about on the Lions pregame show starting this Thursday, by the way. You're going to want to be there, and then following after this Thursday, it's going to be Sundays or any day the Lions play, but Sunday specifically 9 a.m., 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Whether you're sipping Kool-Aid or kicking off screaming same old Lions, you're not going to want to miss the show. Again, join me and different special WSN guests at home games. We'll be down at Eastern Market. Tune in, again, Sundays, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. We'll get to the NFC North. It's pretty easy for me, fellas. Lions. There you go. There's
Lions.
my analysis.
Yes, Lions.
I think I've echoed enough why they'll win the division, but Lions, I think we'd all agree.
Yeah, Flannel, you said Lions?
Yeah, Lions.
Okay.
What if Lucas just said Bears?
Dude.
No, it's all good.
No way.
We'll move on here. NFC South. Saints, Buccaneers, Falcons, Panthers. Sam Flannel, start with you. Who's winning that division?
I got to go with the New Orleans Saints on this one. I just think the upgrade of Derek Carr at quarterback, along with some good defensive pieces like Cam Jordan, Marcus Lattimore, Alvin Kamara will be back in a few weeks. The New Orleans Saints, what they were missing last year is consistent quarterback play. And as much as we don't love Derek Carr or anything like that, he's certainly better than what they had last year. And I don't trust rookie Bryce Young. I certainly don't trust Desmond Ridder. And of course, Baker Mayfield. Give me the New Orleans Saints because they have the best roster and the best quarterback in the NFC South, the quarterback by far.
Let me throw you something, okay? And I know it's going to sound weird, but trust me on this. Give me the Panthers to win that division. And let me tell you why. You know who they play? You know who they freaking play, quarterback-wise? Desmond Ridder, Derek Carr, Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, which they'll lose to, Tua Tagovailoa, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Justin Fields, Dak Prescott, Ryan Tannehill, Baker Mayfield. Let him cook.
Defense?
With that defense, Bryce Young, who I love Bryce Young, great coaching staff. They got a decent offensive line. They got some weapons. They just signed Miles Sanders. Give me the Panthers to sneak out a win, to win their division. I think the Saints, as much as people would just immediately assume they're going to win their division, I think there's going to be some early struggles for the Saints. I do. And I don't know, Derek Carr, I know you love him. You love Derek Carr, Lucas Klotz. But for me, we'll see with the Saints. I think them and the Panthers are close, but ultimately I think the Panthers edge them out by a win or two and sneak away with that division. I think 10, hell, I don't even know. I think 10 wins this division. I do.
I think maybe less than that. And I called him Marcus Lattimore. Marshawn Lattimore. Marcus Lattimore was the old South Carolina running back. Go ahead.
Talk about a what if.
Oh, one of the biggest what ifs.
He went to the Niners too, didn't he? And he couldn't stay healthy.
Yep.
Give me the Panthers. What about you, Lucas?
I'm just with you, Hefe. I think it's a toss-up between the Saints and the Panthers, and I just have enough trust watching what I saw Bryce Young at Alabama. Now, I don't think he's going to go out there and win a playoff game in his first year, but I think he has everything what it takes, especially with the other quarterbacks and defense in this division. He has what it takes to win this division. Derek Carr, very inconsistent. We don't know what the Saints' offense is going to look like, especially in the first half without Alvin Kamara. They could start off slow. Bryce Young, you give him time to kind of develop with this offense and this defense, which I think is the most underrated in the league. I have the Panthers as well.
FV Gaming says someone needs to fire Jeff right now for his Cowboys winning the division tank.
I'm with
really?
you.
Is that hot of a take?
No, I love it, man. I do.
People hear Cowboys in this chat and they just see red.
I don't blame them. I can't stand the Cowboys.
No, it's
Fuck
fair.
Hey,
I've been the biggest instigator of the Cowboys hate, so for me to pick them to win a division, I deserve it. I do.
I mean, I said Micah Parsons, and people just lost their damn minds. Guys, Micah Parsons is all-time elite. I know you're not happy about it. I know
not
you
against Penei Sewell, though.
Oh my goodness.
Put him in a phone booth.
I mean, Micah Parsons, two-time runner-up to Defensive Player of the Year. Penei Sewell, one-time Pro Bowler. Micah Parsons, top 10 NFL top 100. Penei Sewell didn't even make the list. Those are all facts. I'm not trying to be a dick.
No.
I love Penei Sewell, but just saying.
Let's get to our last division here, and then we'll get to our NFC, AFC championship, game. Who we think will make it? Who we think will win the Super Bowl? NFC West. Who wins that division?
Yeah, nobody's overtaken the 49ers in this division. Just like their roster top to bottom, the only thing that is a concern is Brock Purdy. And because we all know he played very, very well last year, but you never know like what he really is. But with the Kyle Shanahan system and with him healthy, he's also proven, Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers have proven that they win a ton of divisions. Nobody's overtaking the 49ers right now.
So
No chance.
I'll say this. They got to get the Nick Bosa stuff figured out like ASAP. And if they do, I think they win the division. But I'm telling you right now, Seattle Seahawks will be about a win or two behind them. I think Seattle, think about the weapons they have, how much they upgraded their defense. I love Pete Carroll, clearly. They got a run game. Again, like the case I was making for the Panthers, except for the Panthers have a much more proven defense. But regardless, like the secondary, offensive line solid, run game, weapons. Geno can repeat what he did last year. I think they'll be right behind the 49ers. But I'll take the 49ers to win that division, though. I do.
Yeah, I'm going to take Niners as well. I agree with you about the whole Seattle situation, but I still don't trust Geno Smith enough to win this division when you have a team like the 49ers in it, just because of the talent that they have, because you can make the same arguments you make with the Seahawks for the 49ers. And again, I just trust Kyle Shanahan a hell of a lot more offensively and in the regular season than Pete Carroll. Now, playoffs, it could be a different question, especially when Pete Carroll has a talented roster. But for the regular season, yes, give me the Niners.
And by the way, you can watch all these games that we're talking about on our live stream because, again, if you're anything like us, you know there's nothing better to do on a fall weekend than lock into hours of football, which we'll be watching all divisions, all games, Lions games included, but just in general, college and NFL football. You sit down, crack a cold one up, line up your bets, and tune into the boys because we'll be watching the games, reacting, probably fighting each other because we'll have bets simultaneously going during the show. So check out that. Again, that's the live stream, and we'll have one on Thursday for the Lions and Chiefs game. Watch along all season on the WSN YouTube channel. That's our division winners. Now, I want to get to AFC and NFC championship game, who we think will be there. Sam Flannel, I'll start with you, and then you can just give us your Super Bowl winner after you do that. But who do you got in the championship games?
I have the Jets at Chiefs in the AFC championship game, and I have the Chiefs ultimately beating the Jets. And in the NFC championship game, I have, unfortunately, the Niners in the Eagles. I have the Super Bowl being a repeat of last year, Kansas City versus Philadelphia, and I have Kansas City winning it all back-to-back. Patrick Mahomes gets his third Super Bowl and his third Super Bowl MVP, but the Detroit Lions will win a playoff game, just to kind of soften the blow a little bit, but I have it going fairly predictable, except the Jets are a little bit of a surprise.
And I'll tell you why I completely disagree with you. AFC championship game. Ready for this?
I can't wait for this.
Bengals and Jags.
Of course, to the shock of absolutely no one.
Bengals and Jaguars. I'm telling you right now, Chiefs don't make the AFC championship game with the Chris Jones debacle. I think all that. And maybe Patrick Mahomes can stick a middle finger in my face and prove me wrong. Because last year I did defend that man, and I did defend him when the Joe Burrow conversations were coming up. Is Joe Burrow better? It's ridiculous. I think the Bengals, though, are in a better position right now. They still got weapons. Joe Burrow, I think he's going to be even more motivated last year. And I think they beat the Chiefs to make the AFC Championship game. And I think the Jaguars, with Trevor Lawrence, I think they make the AFC Championship game too. I don't think they make the Super Bowl. I don't think they make it. Bengals make it over the Jaguars. And then the NFC Championship game. I have the 49ers facing the Eagles. Rematch, but the 49ers win. Give me the Bengals and 49ers in the Super Bowl, and the Bengals win the Super Bowl. They finally get one. Joe Burrow gets his ring. There you go. That's my AFC-NFC Championship game and Super Bowl predictions.
Well, we both have the Jags in the AFC Championship game. We both have them playing against the Cincinnati Bengals because I think Joe Burrow gets the best of Patrick Mahomes this time. And then so I got the Jags walking out of it. I have Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars going to the Super Bowl.
And winning?
We'll be there.
Okay, all right, hold on.
We have the Eagles and the Niners in the NFC Championship game. I think the Niners beat the Lions around before this. And I have the Eagles walking out, making Jalen Hurts one of the only quarterbacks to go from losing a Super Bowl to be back in it. I got the Eagles winning the Super Bowl this year. I'm doubling down. I said the Eagles were going to last year. They lost it, but I think they get it this year. I really do. I just think everything they needed to do to rebuild from what they lost last year, they did. They did. They did what they needed to do. Howie Roseman was cooking in the draft in the offseason. This roster was already uber talented, and it somehow got a lot better.
Good stuff. Good stuff, everybody. There's our predictions all across the board. We'll save this episode. We'll revisit it when the time comes. at the end of this upcoming season. But for right now, we're going to go to break. We get back, we'll get to what's trending with Lucas. So much more to get to. But before we do that, I got to hear about our friends from Dispo.
All right, experience the true meaning of exceptional cannabis products with Dispo Dispensary. With over 12 locations, including their new location that is now open in Whitmore Lake, Dispo is never far away. Join Ermanni and Edwards and the Woodward Heavyweights broadcasting live at the Whitmore Lake location on Friday, September 15th. Located at 50 North Territorial Road, Whitmore Lake, Michigan. Dispo Dispensary, disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour.
You're a good coach, Tim. Oh, great shot.
Some of the biggest names in Michigan sports, and some, well, not so much.
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, shit. Go in.
Watch episodes at woodwardsports.com.
When buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty? That is exactly what Mark White and Associates has to offer. It's called the minute-by-minute listing agreement. Try Mark White's risk-free minute-to-minute listing agreement today. Looking to buy or sell real estate? Visit markwhite.com or call 248-290-8242. MarkWhiteSells.com, where flexibility meets success.
All right, and you know what time it is. You don't need Jeff to tell you that it's what's trending with Lucas time.
Check your watches.
You know. Check the watches and just sit back and relax and listen to a little bit of Coach Prime, baby, because you probably already saw it, but it doesn't hurt to see it again.
Oh, jeez.
Because it's not about them. This is about us. This has nothing to do with the team that's opposing us. This is about us. This ain't got nothing to do with the naysayers, the unbelievers, the haters, the doubters. This is about us. When we started this journey, we told you it was going to be trying, it was going to be tough, but you endured because it's about us. That man next to you is a miracle. That man next to you is a believer. That man next to you is a go-getter. That man next to you is a dog. That man next to you is somebody who wants this thing. That man next to you is somebody who believes. That man next to you is somebody that got to have it today. We ain't got tomorrow. We got now. We ain't got next. We got now. We ain't coming no more. Give me my theme music!
Coach Prime!
Give me my theme music!
As Stephen A. Smith would say, that's a bad man, Deion Sanders.
Yeah, that's a bad man. That one dude looked like Jason Cabinda. He's just shaking his head like the Cabinda look, man. That's like, I'm going to kill somebody on that field. Prime knows how to motivate, man. He does.
He coaches with passion.
He does.
And if there is one coach in NCAA right now that I want to play for, that's the last man you want recruiting your players at the end of the game. You know, you go to the handshakes at the 50, everybody's dapping each other up. That's the last man you want talking to your best DB. You do not want Deion, because he'll recruit him just like that. Yeah. Just like that.
Yeah.
Because they know that Deion is him. Deion is him.
Yeah, he's recruiting during the games, dude. Like he's special. He is. Super special.
But something else that's a little special, but maybe not in the best way. Isaiah Pacheco recently gave his top 5 running backs, and he openly admitted he wasn't the biggest NFL fan growing up, but this list is just kind of wild.
When you talk about the top 5 running backs that you've ever seen, this is your list. Who is in your top 5?
My list. Growing up, I ain't watched football that much, but I know that I watched highlights. And Barry Sanders was on my highlights. AP was on my highlights. Damian Thomason.
3.
And then I'm going to get a little bit into this air. Saquon Barkley.
Ooh, yeah.
Then.
Got one more.
Myself.
So he's got, look, I have no problem with the Barry, LT, and AP. I have no, those might not be the order. I definitely have Barry at 1. I'd probably have AP at 3 and then LT at like 5. But I just want to hear what you guys' thoughts was about putting the Saquon Barkley in there. Because obviously he's going to put himself in there.
Yeah, I was with him till he, like, again, it's his list. Who cares? I mean, people, if you want to put yourself in your top 5 list, fine. I know George Pickens put himself, right? Or he said he almost did, or whatever the case may
George
be.
Pickens.
Yeah, he almost put himself in his top 5. Whatever. As soon as he said myself, I kind of, it's fine though. Barry Sanders, there you go. That's all I care about.
Well, it is not fine, quite frankly, because Isaiah Pacheco's blatant lack of awareness when it comes to the history of running backs is so appalling that I'm almost gonna not pick the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl if he gets a lot of playing time because of that.
Flannel, Super Bowl.
You know what? Not quite yet, but I know the history of running backs more than an actual NFL running back, and the fact that he has himself, Isaiah Pacheco, and Saquon Barkley over Walter Payton, Eric Dickerson, and Jim Brown is so disgraceful.
Well, he did say he doesn't really watch football.
Well, he should watch football. He's an NFL football player. Go back and watch tape. Be like them. When we talk about this like modern, when we talk about this modern generation or whatever one we're in, and they don't have reverence towards the past, Isaiah Pacheco is number 1 on that list. Watch some old film. It's very fun to watch, actually. Don't put yourself and Saquon Barkley on the top 5 running backs. Get out of here. Chuck, why should I stop? Why should I? He put himself as a top 5 running back of all time. Chuck Brewer, man, he's got like flannel derangement syndrome too. I like this guy.
Okay, but
he can't rank players he never saw. Well, I never saw them play live. I wasn't alive with Walter Payton.
But Sam, okay, if Isaiah Pacheco, put yourself in his shoes. He didn't watch these guys growing up. So if you're running back now, why the hell would I go turn on black and white and go watch these guys? Go watch Saquon.
Because they're some of the best players to ever play NFL football.
No, trust me, I understand that. But why would Isaiah Pacheco? He's watching film on Saquon Barkley.
Okay, and he put himself? He had 1 year.
Okay, but I don't look into
People's just lack of reverence for history in the past of people who came before them is appalling. It's a joke. Isaiah Pacheco.
Respect the elders.
Respect the elders.
Sam's acting like he got left off the list. He's mad about it.
Well, leaving Walter Payton, Eric Dickerson, and Jim Brown off a running back list is absurd. All of them.
Flannel is absolutely disgusted.
I am disgusted.
You know what? We'll go to break. Let's just go to break, dude. You made Sam tap out here. All right, let's get to mailbag. Get your questions ready. We'll try to get to as many as we can. But before we do that, I got to hear about our friends from Lady Jane's.
Of course, and where I get my great haircut.
Where would Isaiah Pacheco get his haircut?
Well, Isaiah Pacheco wouldn't get it at Lady Jane's because he shouldn't go to Lady Jane's right now because of that list. And come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience. Register to win a trip of your dreams, an all-expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's right, no expense spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Dick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
Downtown's newest sports bar, 5 Iron Golf, has 13 TrackMan simulators, certified instructors, and most importantly, a full bar and restaurant, which we checked out. It's absolutely amazing. 5 Iron Leagues are also back, debuting on September 11th. Compete nationwide for a chance to win a trip to the Dominican Republic at 5irongolf.com. Use code Woodward 10 for 30% off the league, and then it's 5irongolf.com to sign up. We're back here. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you to everybody for sticking with us, enjoying the show. You could have been anywhere else, but you're with us this morning. So, again, that does not go unnoticed. We appreciate you for that. Hit the like button. We're only roughly, 25, now 24 away from 200 likes. Let's see if we can hit it the last 5 minutes of the show. But it's mailbag time, so let's get to it. Jesse Adams will start us off with the first one. Mailbag, do both running backs score Thursday for the Lions? First question. We'll answer that one. Both running backs score?
No.
I can see David getting a rushing, and I can see Jameer getting a receiving touchdown.
Yeah, if Jameer scores, it's going to be through the air, but I think D-Mon definitely will.
D-Mon, 100. I'm with you.
You can bank that one, but I don't know about Gibbs. I think he'll still have a big impact, though.
Yeah.
He could easily.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'll say yes.
Okay.
I think they both score. Maybe not rushing, but they both get in the end zone. And you say just David?
Yeah. I'll go just David.
And then the second question, will you guys still be blowing Coach Prime crazy when they're 3-6? Dude, it's not even like about that. Like I even said, I don't think they're going to be great this year, but the fact that what he's doing with Colorado is impressive. Like, it just, I can't. Well, go on.
Top 5 wise, they were one of the worst programs in the country last year.
So I got to give him credit, Jesse. No one's blowing anything.
Yeah. A lot of people kind of are. Including, I think, you guys a little bit. And for the record, I think Deion Sanders is going to work at Colorado. But if they're 3-6,
so you're blowing him too.
I'm not blowing him.
You think he's going to work?
You guys are ready to call him Saban or Kirby Smart.
No.
This guy's question is not off base.
To me, it's refreshing seeing a coach like this have success when people didn't think that he would.
Yes,
that's all it is. And
what am I supposed to do?
I'm happy for Deion. I've always liked Deion. He had success. He didn't have the respect he wanted to him. And he was just keeping his receipts, and I like the energy that he has. And he was keeping the same energy when they won.
He's not Saban, but for me to come in and be like, yeah, BTCU, so what? Anyway, let's go on to Michigan. Like, no, I'm gonna give the guy credit. So sorry, if that means blowing him, then, I don't know. That's weird, man. I don't know if I'd go that far. But regardless, they're not winning the Natty. I even said that earlier. I'm like, people are gonna say, no, they're not winning anything. They're not even the best team in their own conference. Even top 2, they're not. But I like what Deion's doing. Prime's doing a good job. But yeah, they're 3-6. I would not be surprised, Jesse. I would not be. A lot of work to do. I'm going to be honest with that roster. Let's see here. Griffin asks, Mailbag, who's the worst team in the WSN Fantasy League, and why is it Jeff? Griffin must not have checked the roster out.
Me and Jeff play week 1. We'll show the teams tomorrow. But
Griffin. All right, Griffin. Keep that energy. Keep that energy, buddy. Jonathan Taylor, he plays. You're screwed. I'll tell you that. Let's get to Travis L. Mailbag. What are we going to see Flannel leave WSN to do some Kansas City pregame shows out in Kansas City? What do you think about that, Sam Flannel?
I'm not a Chiefs fan. I just have a lot of respect for what they've built in Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback.
Ryan's reaction says, Mailbag, who has a better year, Justin Fields or Sam Howell?
Justin Fields.
Let me tell you, man.
Oh, my God.
Let me tell you.
I don't know. Sam
Howell. I'm not saying he's going to be the threat on the ground that Justin Fields is, but Sam Howell is going to be slinging it this year. I think he could very easily be a 4,000-yard passer. Close to it, pushing on it. The weapons that he has with Eric Bieniemy, that division, I don't think it's going to be a long shot, as I think all the teams are pretty solid. I think Sam Howell balls out this year.
He might be fine, but like
I'll tell you what though,
ahead.
Sam Flannel.
What's up?
I think Sam Howell in his first season starting will have more 200-yard passing games than Fields had last year.
Well, that's fair. He also has a much better situation.
Let me ask you this, Flannel, and this is an open-ended question because I think they're very even. Who do you think finished with more wins this year, the Commanders or the Bears?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I think higher on the Bears than most. So I think the Bears will get 8 or 9, and the Commanders will get about 6 or 7.
It'll be close. I'm with Sam though. It'll be like 1 win difference.
But if you want to get the best Lions coverage after every game, tune into the Lions postgame show. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway, and we got Sam Stick Day as well. We'll be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune in on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You don't want to miss it. Maz and special guests each week directly following every Lions game, including this Thursday after the Lions go into Arrowhead and hopefully beat them, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
I love this question. Chuck Brewer chiming in, and so did, I forgot who the other comment was, but people want to ask you, Big Con 51 as well. How about those Buckeyes? Is Indiana a threat in the Big Ten?
No.
Or what happened? Kyle McCord? Tell me about him, Lucas.
Ohio
what do you think?
State shit their pants in pretty much every way that they could.
Hey, Marvin Harrison
got hurt.
Yeah, that was
Kyle
bad.
McCord looked brutal. That interception was brutal. But I think the Big Ten as a whole kind of just had a slow start, but Ohio State did not help their causes. And when I was watching Alabama looked like they picked off right where they left off. So I think that's what concerned me, that Ohio State struggled and Alabama, man, they look good.
Jalen Milroe, he played a little last year. I liked him. Solid. He had 5 total touchdowns. He had 3 passing, 2 rushing, I'm pretty sure.
And he's
nice.
far as his size, like, he's been the biggest athlete at quarterback so far.
No doubt. No doubt about it. The Buckeyes, something to pay attention to. Kyle McCord.
Might be Devin Brown here soon.
Yeah.
Might be Devin Brown here.
You're already out. Yeah, I've seen enough of Kyle McCord.
That's one thing. I'll never be Ohio State slappy anymore. I'll keep it real with them.
Yeah, it is what it is. Again, guys, that'll do it for today. Appreciate you all for tuning into the show, showing love, support, and we'll be back tomorrow. More Lions versus Chiefs, and all that analysis is going to come throughout the rest of the week, so stay tuned for that. We'll have a packed show tomorrow, and then Thursday, man, it's game day. And then it gets real. Matchups, everything.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson makes his debut.
Oh, geez. It's going to get exciting.
Thursday.
Yep, and they play on Thursday. Can't wait. And this weekend we got college football. NFL's back, so, man, football is here to stay for the time being. Can't wait. Again, appreciate all you guys for support. We got 5 likes till we hit 200. If 5 of you could hit that like button, it would mean a ton to the show. But
appreciate
until tomorrow,
you guys for sticking around.
Yeah, no doubt
Thank
about
you.
it. I mean, you're all real ones. We appreciate you. Jeff Iafrate, Sam Flannel, Parker filling in for JB Parker. Appreciate you. Gabrielle D. Phillips, Lucas Klotz holding it down for us. Until tomorrow, guys. We'll see you.